Master Your Mindset Radio, episode 69.
Welcome to Master Your Mindset Radio, the show where we empower you to conquer limiting beliefs and transform your world with your gifting and purpose. Now for your host, Elizabeth Nader.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. I'm so jazzed for this week to be able to bring to you somebody who is amazing, is going to get you so excited about the potential in your life. Now, I want you to remember, Master Your Mindset Radio is all about encouraging you, about moving you forward every week to your true potential. And there is nobody better that I could bring to you to do that, to inspire you, than Bert Oliva. Bert, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I love spending time with you. This is like our second time, but it feels like we're like friends. We've been friends forever.
Feels that way. We totally hit it off this summer, and my viewership will remember your amazing interview in the Flatten Your Fear Summit. And, you know, it was summertime, it was pandemic, shutdown, quarantine. And I think when we did that interview, we thought, oh, we're going to be out of this stuff soon. But here we are, December.
Well, nothing has changed. We're still in the same place.
We're still in the same place. But I think the truth is, even more so, people need to hear messages of encouragement, and they need to see what people like you are doing to continue to move towards purpose, walk in your purpose, to understand how you can impact the world around you, and to not give up because there's a lot of darkness happening. So Bert, first of all, for anybody who is living on Mars and doesn't know who you are, right? Because I mean, I can't imagine they don't, but I want you to tell people about what you do, because I really think you are one of the thought leaders we have who is on the forefront of getting people to see their potential. So tell people about Bert.
Well, I've been doing seminars for over 27 years, professionally, both in English and Spanish, and all over the world, and teaching the leadership and human behavior concept, being able to help people work and tap into their greatness, because I truly believe everyone has greatness inside of them. The only person that really holds them back is themselves.
Yes.
They may blame their significant other or their parents or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's really ourselves. And once people can realize that, they can tap into that greatness, because I truly believe everyone in this world is here for a reason.
Yeah.
They're here to leave a legacy, but most people leave this life without leaving their legacy. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. And, you know, you have been able to actually make a career out of that. I believe that you were created on purpose for a purpose, and that purpose is to get people to look within themselves and understand the greatness and their potential. But it's not like you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. It's not as though that pathway was made easy. So tell people about your childhood, about your mother, because I think this is a really cool part of your story.
Well, I came to the United States when I was 11 months old. I'm from Cuba. And my mom had left Cuba because my father was communist, and she didn't want to live, you know, the Cuban regime and the whole thing. So she came to the United States. I was 11 months old. When I got to the States, I never had a brother, a sister, no grandparents, no father. My mom was my everything. And I learned so much. I tell people all the time, she was my number one motivational speaker or mentor, whatever you want to call it, because she taught me through her actions, right?
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, we were really poor. But we weren't broken, right? People say there's a difference between being poor and being broke. And we weren't broken, but she always taught me, she used to clean floors, but she never really had an education to create, or the entrepreneur mindset to create a business out of it. So we would go to these nice mansions, and I would tell Mom, you know, one day I'm going to have a house just like this. And she said, mijo, son, whatever you want. And then I remember, wow, this is great. You know, I said, Mom, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to help people. She said, mijo, whatever you want. She never told me no. And back in the old days, I mean, I'm kind of giving my age, but back in the old days, bling bling and the rich and famous were really two guys. One was Elvis Presley, the other one was Liberace. They had all the bling. And I go, Mom, I want to be like Liberace. She looks at me and she says, son, lo que tú quieras, whatever you want. She never held grudges. She never compared any. Whatever I wanted to do, it was possible. And that's why I got into this business. But I got into the business later on. I used to work for a company called Xerox Corporation, and they had the best sales training in the world.
Yeah.
And I remember going up to Leesburg, Virginia, and they had the training facility was really cool because it was like you would sign in and then you couldn't leave. If your training was for a week or 2 weeks, you couldn't leave the facility. They had everything you needed. Whether if you wanted to go to happy hour, you wanted to do this, whatever, everything was in the facility, right? Then you had dorms on one end, and on the other side of the building or the other side of the compound, they had the classrooms.
Yeah.
So whether it was snowing or raining or whatever the case is, they had underground tunnels. So you had to show up on time. If you weren't there on time, you were not. They would lock the door and you wouldn't be part of it. So I remember going there and learning about self-help. Right, I was learning how to sell ice to Eskimo. They had the best sales training in the world.
Yeah.
And I remember I got to meet Les Brown and Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and all these guys. And I'm like, you know what? One day I'm going to do this.
Wow.
And that's when I said, you know, back then when I started my career, it was either Anglo-whites or Black Americans, right? You had your Tony Robbins, your Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn. You had your T.D. Jakes. You had Les Brown. But there was no space for a Latino speaker.
Right.
Bert Oliva. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
What happens is, and I learned this from one of my mentors, what happens is that our mind will always end up asking a question, which is how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
The how is none of your business.
Yeah, I love that. That's so true. I love that. Yep. Yep, it's true.
Just go out and do it.
Yeah.
Anything you want to do. And at the end of the day, whoever's listening to this, whether you're 15 years old, you're 30, you're 70, we all had that moment in our life when we knew we were special.
Yeah.
And the only reason you might not have created something special in your life up to date is because you've given up on your dream.
Yeah, you gave
Tap
up.
into your dream. Yeah, go out and do it. You're never too old, you're never too young to make it happen.
And I think the how is a paralyzing force. When you focus so much on the how, you stand still. And
especially now, it was a bit social media.
Oh God.
It's like all these people are doing stuff online and you're like comparing yourself. No. It's okay to, look up to someone and say, you know what, I like the messages this person's posting. Like what you've done with social media is phenomenal. I love working with you.
Yeah.
Your followers, you may not have 100,000 or 200,000 followers, but the followers you do have are loyal to you.
Right.
You'd be surprised how many people reached out to me after I was in your last podcast. And I've been on podcasts with some of these podcasters have 2.5 million followers, and I don't get the same response. That's what people need to realize. You don't need to have the vanity number. You need to have people that really care about your message.
And
what it is
I agree with you, Bert. And, I love that you say that too, because what that really backs into is the realization that our purpose here is to at least make one other person's life easier, right? Is to impact someone else. It isn't a numbers game.
Agree.
It's the fact that, and I know that you could tell me stories that would last all day about things you have heard from people who you spoke to, who were at an event, who you just said a passing word to, or you were able to get a book to them or whatever, and their lives were never the same. And I know that you don't take that feedback and say, well, look at how great Bert is. You take that feedback and you say, oh my gosh, thank you, God, for letting me walk in my purpose, and thank you for letting me impact that life. So we don't need 2 million followers to do that, despite what the common pressure is out there. And before we got on, we were talking about that a little bit. Tell everybody how you think social media is changing and the influencers, because I think you've got a great viewpoint on this.
I don't think it's starting to change, right? For the past few years, the influencers, or the so-called influencers, have kind of tainted the view of what life is really like, right?
Yeah.
Number one, posting images and they're all being photoshopped, so everyone looks perfect.
Yeah.
They start talking to you about wealth and being rich, and in order to be rich and wealth, you have to have a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, a 20,000 square foot house, and private jets. And I think that's gotten a little old. If you look at some of the major influencers that have large numbers, they don't have the same message coming out. They themselves have realized that it's not working. I think people are ready to really find themselves.
I agree.
And find wealth is for them, not what you're being sold on.
Right.
And that's what I tell my and by the way, we're kind of stuck with social media because it's either if you're not on social media, you're really going to miss out on business.
That's true.
It's just making sure that you monitor it and don't let it take the best of you. Like my counterparts, people that I work with, and I'm not going to mention names, but there's certain people like, my God, he's doing so much better. What is he doing? No, look at it and say, okay, you know what? Maybe he has a better connection with his audience.
Yeah.
Don't hate on him, but figure it out. And eventually when you get it, you'll get the same amount of followers or maybe even more.
Right.
But don't focus on the vanity matrix. Focus on the loyal followers like what you have. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show. I really respect you. I love what you do. I can't wait to meet you in person. And no, I'm serious.
I agree with you. I'm laughing because the stupid pandemic has taken away this from so many people, but we're holding on to the possibility, right? Soon.
Yeah. And that's why I tell people, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And that's and yes, I do a lot of shows, and I'm, you know, like I tell people, back in the old days was the beginning of the year, I would travel 3 weeks out of the month, right?
Yeah.
To go to different countries. Now I can travel to 5 countries in a matter of 6 hours.
Amazing.
Because I'm on Zoom calls, right?
Yeah.
But I'm missing the human connection,
Yeah.
right? I miss, especially I'm Latino, I'm Cuban, right?
Yeah.
So I love hugging people, and I miss that. So, you know, we had an event in Colorado about a month ago, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great. Everything's going to start opening up again. So we started getting booked again, and I was going to surprise you. I told you this before we started talking.
Right.
I was going to surprise you because I was going to New York. I had a gig in New York. And then from one day to the other, they've all been shut down again.
Yeah.
So what I tell people is, look, don't, this is the new way of doing business. This is just an added way of doing business. It's not going to be the new way. It's just something else that needs to be in your toolbox, right?
Yeah.
So eventually we'll be back on stages. We'll be traveling the world and doing the same stuff I was doing years ago or as a year ago, but also making sure that you're working on your craft now.
Yeah.
You know how many people right now, because of the holidays, have shut down already?
I know.
Besides the pandemic, besides all the craziness that's happening in our world, they've shut down because it's the holidays. This is when you can actually take, you know, you can go over your competitors 5 or 6 times or 10x from where you are, because your competitors are like taking time off.
Yeah.
This is when you need to hone your craft. This is when you need to go and listen to more podcasts. Go ahead and take action. This is where you get ahead of your competition.
So encouraging everybody to do that, and whatever they're doing, whatever their path is, how do you keep yourself motivated? Because I have to tell you something, that this is the one thing that I'm hearing over and over again right now, which is people are losing the sense of motivation, or it doesn't matter, or no matter what I do, I feel restricted, I feel locked down. And I'm talking almost like spiritually, right? It's physically true, but it's also this sense that things are closing in, that they're getting darker, that what is the point? Why even have a 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan when right now I feel like I can't get through day to day? Now, those of us that do what we do, for us, we're constantly thinking mindset, and we're constantly reading and doing, but not everybody does that. So how do you keep yourself going, and what do you tell people to say, listen?
I'm not going to go ahead and give you the motivational fluff. It's not easy. It's not easy, because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Amen.
But also finding yourself the right circle of people.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, get yourself a list and create a list that I call the power calls, right? Create a list of 5 people that you admire, that most of the times you call them, they motivate you. They don't have to be motivational speakers. They don't have to be major league, just people that turn you on. They put you in that state of greatness, right? Then what you do is, whenever you're having a down moment, reach out to those people.
Yeah.
After 1 hour, like for example, if I reach out to you and I'm having a bad day, I know that within 10 minutes I'm going to feel better.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So have a power list ready so you can call those people that you really care for. Also, who you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
Right now, because you're kind of stuck in a certain place, like at home with the same people that, are with you. Like, for example, for us, we happen to have a nice sized house. So we have 7 people and 4 dogs.
Oh my gosh.
We have a full house, but
yeah.
And the cool thing, like I said, I'm fortunate that the house is big enough that I don't see them every day. But,
right.
But also when we have family time, we really are now diving in deeper. We're really appreciating these moments,
right.
But making sure that you don't go and call the people that are going to go ahead and grab onto whatever it is that's holding you down and kind of create more of weight on it, right? Like, oh my God, I'm having a bad day. Oh yes, Susan. Yeah, Susan, I'm having a bad day. Well, really, Bert? So am I. So then you're both going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Instead of calling someone like Elizabeth,
Right.
or myself or whoever within that power list,
Yeah.
that's going to go ahead and get you out of the rut. And believe it or not, maybe they're not always motivated, but that's why you have a list of at
Yeah.
least 5 to 7 people that you can call to get you up and going. And also doing another thing to keep you motivated is create a ritual or routine. We, because of what's happened, we don't have routines anymore.
That's right.
So we wake up a little later,
Yep.
and we'll go to sleep a little later. And then you wake up and you feel like a failure.
Yes.
And then now people, you know how people have gotten supersized, like you gain weight. Now
Yep.
it's called corona size, right?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, you gain more weight. So at the end of the day, oh, now I gain weight, so I don't want to be on a video. So you're kind of creating it. So having a routine, something that you do every day, wake up in the morning, go ahead and let's say, for example, you used to wake up at 6 in the morning. Now you're doing 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, don't go back to 6, because you really didn't go from 6 to 9 immediately.
Right.
Do it in smaller steps. Go back to 8:30.
Yeah.
Then to 8. Then the following week, next thing you know, 4 weeks later, you're back to 6.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, I'm checking my emails first.
Yeah.
Or get the social media out of the way. Then I'm making, I'm getting on the treadmill or doing whatever. But routines really help you stay motivated.
It's funny because this is such strong advice, but it's not like this big aha moment. It's these small things. I think that people forget we get somewhere big, not overnight. It's not a suddenly. It's by doing these small things.
Success doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
It happens over time.
It happens over time. And you're talking about really even mental health protection. I mean, honestly, these are the kind of things, having your power list, the routines, really paying attention to what you're thinking about, what you're doing, how you're managing your day. And I have to tell you right now, I have a lot of concern about children in this environment. I have 4 of them here. I only have 2 dogs and 4 kids. So I'm going to go with 6 people and 2 dogs. I can't quite match you, but I'm trying. I used to have 4 dogs, but they're buried in the backyard. So I'm not quite there, Bert, but I'm working on it. Anyway, I worry about kids' mental health.
But you said you have, how many children? You said you had 4 children?
4 children, 4 teenagers.
And what age?
All teenagers, 16 to 12 and a half.
And you know how they learn? Not by what you say, but what you do.
Amen. Truth.
And most people are so focused on telling their children what they should be doing, but then at the end of the day, they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Guess what they're learning? How not to do it, right?
Yeah.
So lead by action.
Yeah.
And when they see you struggling and getting on Zoom or getting on Skype or getting on whatever, and they're seeing you learning the new learning curve that everyone is going through. By the way, this learning curve is everyone. I don't care how much money you have, we're all going through it, right?
That's right.
So at the end of the day, they see that. So when you do give them advice, they're saying, well, you know what? It's good advice. Because when Mom told me anything is possible, and she always used to tell me, work and everything you do, give it 1,000%, even though that you can only give it 100. But anyway,
right.
She said, give it 1,000%. I used to see her do that.
Yeah.
I used to see her clean houses better than she would clean her house to make sure that she did, an amazing job at whatever she did.
Yeah.
So I learned by her actions.
Yeah.
And most people want to become, especially in the art industry. Like I said, I've been doing it for so many years, over 27 years. There was only a handful of motivational speakers when I started. Now, even people that lose their jobs are motivational speakers, right?
I don't understand that.
Yeah, you can motivate people, but motivate them through your actions.
Yes, absolutely.
Not just through your words. Words are easy.
Yep.
Can you really do with the things that you tell other people to do?
Yeah, and it's a series of choices, right? People watch your choices. That's what they see on the inside, on the outside, or the choices that you made, and it impacts our children much more. But I do worry about their mental health, and I'm hearing stories and seeing a lot of heartbreaking things, and I think that everything that's going on right now is impacting that generation a lot. And one thing that I have tried to do with my children is have them paint a vision. Now, I've always been vision focused. That's my thing, right? I've always been somebody who believes in that, but I'm seeing more and more the urgency for these children to have a vision, because that's what drives them to get out of bed in the morning. If school goes offline, if they have to stay home, they can't see their friends. If we can always be thinking about a bigger picture, even though we're dealing with the small issues or not so small issues of everyday life. So vision for me is a big deal. I know it is for you because you've cast a big vision for your life, and we cast different goals and different visions. How has that been changing for you this year? What did you do to kind of reset vision? How do you talk to yourself? How do you look at your goals and where you think you're going to be, and take the actions to move towards that in a world that is really topsy-turvy.
Yeah, well, one of the things is that my long-term goal has not changed, right?
Yeah.
Which is my main goal in life is to change the lives of 100 million people in a positive way.
Love it.
And the way I came out with that number is really, I started in the United States, and 1/3 of the country was 100 million. So I said, if I just focus on this country, I'll be able to do it. Long story short, I've been all over the world. So I'm going to reach that goal. And it's not just to speak to 100 million people, it's to be able to transform people's lives.
Right.
However, I have short-term goals, right? And then immediate goals that I make sure that I have goals every day I set up to do. And if I don't complete them, I roll them over no more than 3 days. After the third day, chances was that I really didn't want to do that, or that's not really going to make a difference. So I delete it.
Okay.
And then I do short-term goals. Then I have medium-term goals, right? Where I could, like I had goals a month ago. Oh, we're gonna go to California. We now have New York set up. We have, this is gonna be great. Then life happens.
Right.
So at least you fall back and you realize, okay, well, that's not gonna happen right now. Let me continue the other path of this learning curve, learning all this new technology and getting my message out there.
Right.
So again, being able to adjust whatever happens in your life. Not everything's going to go perfect, because like I said in the beginning, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yep.
Every person that's on top of their game, whether they're an actor or a dancer or a motivational speaker or a podcaster or whatever, they do the work.
Yeah.
In order to succeed, you have to put in the work. And
There's
most
no way
people are
around
not willing to work. They want to do it overnight. It doesn't work that way.
No.
At least it could happen. Like when you hear those overnight success stories, ask them how long they've been doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened overnight after 10 years of them doing it.
It's so funny you say that, because I literally, just my last podcast, I talked about how I use the metaphor that we eat a slice of pizza, not from the crust down, right? We start with the small bites, right? Work our way up to the big crust, right? It's not, these people that have had these suddenlies, we see that it wasn't a suddenly for them. That's not what happens. And even if it were, it wouldn't stick, because the hard work and the sacrifice and the commitment and the daily decisions to move towards something is what the rest of the world sees the moment, and they see the suddenly. It's not a suddenly. You and I know better. And I think that's why we can celebrate the small moments. Now, I want you to talk about this book you wrote 3 years ago, which ironically seems like you wrote it this summer. Like, I guess it was a prophetic book, and it's called Don't Drink the Kool-Aid. I know you have other books, but this one was like, the timeliness of it was amazing. A guide to live your life on your terms. Now, everybody, you can get it on Amazon. It's a shorter book. Every page is like, okay, it absolutely just punches you with incredible inspiration. But let's talk about what this book, why the book, what it means, what it meant then, and what it means now, because I think it's incredibly timely.
Yeah, well, one thing I want to say before anything is I need people to get off their BS. And usually I tell people their belief system just to be positive, but stop doubting yourself. Stop allowing all this negative news that comes in become your reality, or other people's opinion to become your reality. So, and I just wanted to say that because a lot of reason that people one of the main reasons that people are not succeeding is because I know I'm not Latin enough, I'm not white enough, I'm not black enough. And look, dude, you're perfect. Yeah. Just go out and do it. Yeah. You can't figure it out if you don't go out there and do it. And I don't know if I said this in the last interview, but I tell my children every single time, become a straight F student in life. Not straight A's, straight F's, right? Fail fast forward. Yep. And eventually you'll figure it out. But if you don't even try, you're like, well, I knew it couldn't happen. I couldn't become a YouTube sensation. That's already saturated. You didn't even try. Right. Just because you did 5 videos, that's not good enough. Right. So back to the book, I just wanted to go a little bit on a tangent because it really frustrates me that a lot of people are giving up without even trying. Yes. You get what I'm saying? Yes. I see you and you keep growing and that doesn't work. Then I see you on a different platform. Yeah. And then that and you're hopping, but that's where success comes, that's when success happens. Right, right. Not because I'm stuck one place, it doesn't work. LinkedIn hasn't worked for me, so I'm not good on social media. Maybe LinkedIn is not your demographic. Maybe, Instagram was. I don't know. Whatever the case is, people are giving up way too soon. Agreed. So I wrote this book because we're all brainwashed, right?
Yes.
Especially now that you realize on social media that, basically whatever you search for, you will find an answer.
Ugh,
Whether it's right or wrong, whether it's real or not real, you will find the answer you're looking for, which is scary
scary.
because you need to do your due diligence to make sure you find the right answer, the truth, which is not easy.
Yeah.
And that's what people are all mistaken now, because the social media tells me, the left is like this and the right is like that. And I don't want to get into politics, but basically that's where we're at right now in this
Yep.
country.
That's right.
And it's not left or right.
Nope.
Do your homework, do your due
Yes.
diligence.
Yes.
There's different, extremes are all bad. All the way left is horrible. All the way to the right is horrible.
Agreed.
But I
Agreed.
think Democrats and Republicans both have good views on certain things,
Yeah.
but you won't find those views because social media is set up in such a way that the algorithms will go ahead and give you what you're looking for, even though if it's not true.
Yeah. So true. That is so true.
So when I wrote the book, it was about The Walking Dead. It's about it's really a book that not only gives you tools that you can apply immediately and start making it work.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the scientific research is attached to it, so you can see that this is not stuff that I just made up.
Right.
And it's really the steps that I've taken in my entire life to get to where I'm at today. And I'm living what people would call the American dream, right?
Yes. Yes.
I'm living, but it's not really the American dream. It's my dream. I'm living my dream.
Yeah.
And in that book, I also made it small enough so it's a quick read,
Yes.
because it's sad to say that most people don't like to read books anymore.
I know.
So I wanted something that had substance, not just motivational rah-rah. I think it was time for people to have actual attainable tools that they can apply, and that's what the book is all about.
Yeah, I'm all about tools too. By the way, that's one of the things I think that really drew me to you, is that it's not just fluff. And there is so much fluff out there. People want to know how to do it. Like we said before, the how, in terms of your life and your purpose, we don't always have to figure that out, but we do need to understand there are tools to how to get our mindset set straight, how to find truth.
I'll give an example right now, Elizabeth. When you asked me earlier, how do you get motivated? I could have came out, well, it's really easy. I wake up in the morning to do jumping jacks and change my state and put on music for 45 seconds. Yeah, that's all great.
Yeah.
But I was honest. I'm like, you know what? It's not easy.
Right, exactly.
And that's what you get, a lot of fluff out there.
Yeah.
So whether you're following someone, whether it's myself, Elizabeth, whoever it is, or some of these other influencers, do your due diligence, do your homework. Yeah. Maybe there's that one message that you like, but do more homework on that person to make sure that this is the type of person you want to follow. And you're never going to find that one mentor.
Right.
If you find one mentor, you're doing it all wrong.
That's right.
I have several mentors.
Me too.
Some that help me with relationship skills. Some of them help me with wealth. Some of them help me, right? So if you have one person that you look up to and they have all your answers, then you're not really finding yourself. You're just duplicating someone else.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That's true. Now, the book, in terms of the title, Don't Drink the Kool-Aid, I think one of the things that I hear a lot of people say is what their truth. They say, this is my truth, my truth. And I'm not really sure what that means all the time. I think I thought I did.
That's fine. When they tell me that, you know what I tell them?
What?
How's it working for you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's your truth, but is it really working? And they're like, yes. When you're doubting it, obviously what you're doing is not working.
Yeah.
What's your truth has not worked for you until now. For some, yes, but for the most, no. So figure it out. Look, it's not that difficult to be wealthy. It's not that difficult to have an amazing family. It's not that difficult to have great relationships besides swiping left and right on Tinder or whatever the case is. It's just you need to find your purpose first.
Right.
So
Agreed.
you can find the right match. What is it you want? The reason relationships last for long periods of time, like your marriage and my marriage, for over 30, I've been married for over 30 years.
Awesome.
And they're like, well, how did that happen? Because we knew who we were getting into the relationship, and we found our strength. Sometimes she's followed me and I've followed her.
Yeah.
I've always, and we're both leaders. And it's okay. And it's like, well, maybe you need to have a relationship with the woman has to be. No. She opened her nonprofit organization 6 years ago, and I supported it 1,000%. Remember, my mom taught me 1,000.
1,000. That's right. Not 100, 1,000. Yeah.
Not 100, 1,000. So, I helped her 1,000%, and that's a successful business that we've had. A nonprofit organization is really, really successful, helping children all over the world. So at the end of the day, if you don't have it, it's not because you don't deserve it. It's because you haven't earned it and you're not ready for it. So start preparing yourself to attract those things in your life.
Okay, so it's a really good point that you make. And by the way, I feel the same way about my marriage. We have this balance that, we're both strong, we're both leaders, but when I'm doing something big, he's right there behind me. And when he's doing something
Beautiful.
big, I'm right there behind him. And neither one of us needs the spotlight. We both push each other into the spotlight. It's this interesting dance that I don't think you can, just create without doing the work in yourself first. So when you talk about that, and this is purpose, and I always say everybody was created on purpose with a purpose. And I feel like the majority of the people, as they say, die with the music in them, right? They never figure it out. So let's talk about some practical ways. Let's talk about how do people find what is purpose? Because listen, people can easily get cynical, listen to this podcast and say, okay, Bert Oliva, you obviously were created with this early on, and your mom obviously, did all these things for you from a mindset standpoint, and you had this inspiration.
Yeah, that's a good point. But think about this. Look, when I was growing up, I remember we didn't go to private school, right?
Yeah.
I didn't go to private school. I went to some of the worst schools in the country. And I remember that even some of the schools that my mom kept, I always remember my mom like the Jeffersons, right? Moving on up.
Yeah.
Because we started in South Florida, there was like 12th Avenue, and then 27th Avenue, then 37th. She kept moving on up. The further up you went, the better the neighborhood got,
Sure.
right? And then I remember going to the school and the children would bring in their parents, like for work day. My dad is a doctor, my mother's this, and I never did that because my mom was too busy cleaning floors, and I never had a father.
Yeah.
So what would have been something to hold on to, well, I never had family. I figured that because I never had anyone but my mother is why I'm really successful at what I do, because I really love people.
Yeah.
And when I connect with people, you've seen, this is not just a recording that we're doing.
Right.
When we're not on the recording, we talk for, sometimes you have to shut me up because we have such a strong connection,
right,
that because what you see is what you get. And
right.
I don't do it for the fame and the glory. That's just been the byproduct,
Amen.
being able to travel the world and do all these things. But I do it because I really love people. And I truly believe that this immigrant that came to this country when he was 11 months old has built a wealthy lifestyle, which most people wish they had.
Yes.
I travel the world with my children. I do things, I do what I want, when I want, and how I want it. If I can do it, what's holding you back?
Well, I think what's really great about that, Bert, is that it's really about using what you've been given. And when I say that, I don't just talk about the positive things. I don't just mean the fact that you were given a certain gift or talent. I mean everything. In other words, those kids that had the doctors, the lawyers as parents, they were given that as part of their, what they were born into. And so they can use that for something. It seems like that's an advantage, but yet what you're saying is, yeah, I didn't have that, but I still used it. Using everything you've been given, whether you see it as a difficulty or you see it as an advantage, it all can be part of the picture. And isn't it meant to be? Isn't it all meant to be part of it?
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
God blesses us in different ways.
Yes.
Everyone wants it a certain way, right? They want to wake up in the morning and see what, for this, some people, like a guy with long hair and a sexy beard, and he's going to talk to me. Let me tell you something. Sit down and keep waiting for it. God talks to you through television, through a social media clip. Sometimes you're thinking about something so deep, and the next video you watch on social media gives you the answer.
Yes.
But because it's not that guy, that sexy beast of a man,
you're
like, okay, well, you know what? That's not my answer. That is your answer. What are you looking for?
It's everywhere. It's all around you. The answers are all around you. And I love that you bring that up, because it's a reminder to everybody who's feeling darkness right now and who's feeling like, what is the path? I don't know what to do, because, more now than ever, we've been taught and reminded that the only thing we have control over is ourselves, our mind, and how we direct it. And that's always been true, but it's even more emphasized now. But to remind you, what you say, Bert, is so true, that the answers, when we ask for wisdom, it's given liberally. But guess what? It doesn't come down necessarily with a lightning bolt. It's everywhere around us. Pay attention. Wake up. Did you hear that?
Now that we're talking a little bit about religion, which, by the way, I've been told for years, don't get into politics, don't get to religion.
Sorry.
But I got to be honest. But think about this. Even Jews believed in Jesus.
Yes.
They believed he was a motivational speaker with 12 employees.
Correct. Right? Correct. You're right.
But the question wasn't that they didn't believe he existed.
Yeah.
But even Jesus had to travel to give his message, to go out there. He had a belief system that this is my message, and he would deliver it. What's holding you back?
Yeah.
Why is like, oh, my message is not as good as Tony or Les or whoever? No. Your message is special.
That's right.
And there's over 7 billion people on this planet, and there's a major amount of people that don't know who I am, who Les is, who
Right.
Tony is, but they want to hear your message.
Yeah.
And you know what? You'll never find out if you don't go out there and do it. If
Yep.
Jesus did it, what's holding you back?
I
Go
agree.
out there and share your message. Go ahead and share your belief system. Not everyone's going to agree on it, but that's okay. Everyone can have an opinion. Just don't allow someone's opinion of you become your reality.
Well, I don't think we were created for everyone, right? I mean, there are literally people out there who Bert Oliva is supposed to impact. And he, I believe we were supposed to connect for a reason. You have 100 million people. Let's say that that's the audience. God put that on your heart. It's not that the number matters, but he literally created an audience, and he said, when I create these gifts and talents in Bert, I need him to impact those people. Now, it was up to you to say yes. It was up to you to take that challenge. It was up to you to follow that path and push through and develop those talents out of those raw gifts. And yes, you had to do that, but you were created to impact your world. And I always say your world. Well, what is your world? You happen to have defined it as part of your vision, but no matter, everyone has people around them that God intended them to impact. Now, if they say no and they don't do it, God will find someone else. I believe that. But people need to start saying yes.
Well, God is great.
Yeah.
And I'm not just, I mean, God is great.
Yeah.
Right. And I truly believe that everyone was brought to this world to do something greater than what they think or they're doing right now.
Yes.
But they kind of hesitate and they think about it, maybe I don't have the right eye color, or maybe, no, man, I don't care what you look like. I don't care how you speak, even if you don't speak perfect English or Spanish or whatever your language is, just put it out there.
Right.
We times have changed right now. Now you don't have to wait for a local channel or NBC or ABC to pick you up. You can create your own channel.
Yeah.
Right. You can go ahead and create your own channel, and it's not going to grow overnight.
No.
But when you're doing something out of your heart, the longest 18 inches in the human body are the ones from your head to your heart.
So true.
When you connect those 18 inches, your life will transform. But
yeah.
if you're all head or all heart, it doesn't work.
Yep.
You have to connect those 18 inches.
And you have to do it your way. It has to be unique to you. I don't think there's a formula. And I think that's the thing with social media that's so frustrating, is that people try to sell formulas. And yes, there are certain habits and activities and things that you do. But the uniqueness that you bring, I really think when we struggle to do something, that's not the right thing. It's not about struggling. And I'm not talking about setting good habits and the whole, our flesh gets in the way. We don't want to get up early. We don't want to work out. No, we need to push through that. But when we struggle to make something work in our business, in our career, and it's just not happening, I think we need to take a beat and say, wait a minute, step back. Why am I pushing so hard on something that's not, it's not working? What am I missing?
One thing you're saying that, I agree with you, and let me use my mom's term again, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But think about it. People have a perceived value, right? They'll go ahead and say, well, Bert, you may be doing great and you have all this wealth and you're comfortable. No, the more money you have, the bigger the problems are.
So true. Oh, say that again. That is so true.
I got into a lawsuit.
Yeah.
The year that my mom passed away, when my life was falling apart. My mom, like I said, was my number one person in my world. She passed away. I got a lawsuit of $800,000. They were just, we went back and forth. I won the lawsuit, and it was all after a certain brand.
Yeah.
And I've yet to use the brand. You talk about ego.
Oh,
talk about ego, right? So at the end of the day, the more money you have, the bigger the problem is. So if you can't afford your mortgage right now, or maybe not your mortgage, your rent, or you can't afford maybe your food, okay, that's okay. That's your starting point.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that because you have more money, the problems are gone. The
Not
problems
at all.
are just, they're bigger.
They are bigger.
Look at Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
A multi-billionaire. And he still couldn't save his own life.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, money is not everything.
Oh, that's
it's
so
finding
true.
what your purpose is and finding what it is you want to do in this one opportunity that you have in this thing called life, and live it to the fullest.
Yeah, it is absolutely true. And, now we're in December, and I keep saying, we're getting closer to the New Year's, and everybody gets on the New Year's resolution train and do all that. And I think it's good that we have that in our systems to try to reset. But I think we need to be doing that almost, consistently to reset our goals, reset our vision, to focus every day on where we want to go. But I want you to kind of step into the prophetic a little bit. What does next year look like? What do you think we're facing uniquely? How do you think social media is changing? How do you think people's motivation will be changing? What can we do personally, professionally, whatever comes to mind, to set ourselves up for a fulfilling 2021?
Well, one of the things I tell people all the time is how you end your year is how you start your year. So, and by the way, I also use it the other way around. You know, how you start your year is how you end your year.
Right, it's true. A 1,000%, Bert. 1,000%. I agree with you.
So if you go into the new year with, like everyone else does, you know, 2021 is going to be my best year yet.
Yeah.
Well, how come 2020 wasn't your best year yet?
Oh, yeah.
Because things happen. Well, life is going to happen.
That's right.
But if you don't have a plan of what it is you really want to achieve in your lifetime, and then break down that plan to attainable goals.
Yeah.
And then make sure that you achieve those goals. And you're basically doing the same cycle all over again. I'll hear your message on 2022. This is going to be my year. 2023. This is going to be my year. And you're never going to do it. So I think this is what has happened to our world, because it's not even just our country. It's the world right now.
Right.
Right. This is what has happened to our world. What's my part in it? What can I do to get me ready for the upcoming year, but let alone the upcoming year, for the upcoming month?
Yeah.
Why wait till January 1st to start your year? Why can't you start your year today?
Right.
Let it be your New Year's Eve today.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people when I do goal settings, we have a program called Life by Design.
Yeah.
And we tell people you should at least do your goal setting programs at least once or twice a year.
Yeah.
Because why wait to the beginning of the year to do everything? Because then you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, agreed.
Because you're going to go ahead and do 20 things that you haven't even done the entire year, and you're going to fail within the first 2 weeks, right? So, why not do baby steps?
Yeah.
What do you want to do in 2021? Okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Okay, well, let me go ahead and start with this already.
Yeah.
So by the time 2021 comes, I've already done 2 of the 3 things.
Yeah.
And
that's
I'm moving
good.
forward, right? So that's what I tell people. It's like, because I just hear it every single time, and they'll come with a good, they'll always come up with a new phrase. I don't know what the phrase is going to be, but like 2020 was this and 2021 will be that. That's cute. That's adorable.
Yeah.
But life is passing you by.
It is
the
passing.
one thing you can never get back is this time.
So
if you found value in what it is that Elizabeth and I are talking about, then replay this.
Yeah.
Don't go to social media and look at garbage to then destroy everything that you've learned here. If you found value in what it is you're listening to, forward it to someone. Don't keep it for yourself.
Yeah.
People are selfish.
Yeah.
Share. Look, it's in the Bible. You reap what you sow.
That's right.
So start sowing more so you can reap more.
Yeah.
People learn, they find a good speaker, they find a great podcast, and they keep it for themselves.
Yeah.
Share it with the world. You're helping other people. As you help other people grow, you will grow.
Yeah, and that's using social media to bless other people. And I do think too that, one of the reasons we need to be consistently looking at goals and vision is because we go through seasons. Let's be honest, we can create a big vision for ourselves, and then God takes us through a season. It may be a child rearing season. It may be a season where someone in our family is sick. It may be a season where we're meant to do something else.
I love what you're saying.
Yeah.
I love what you're saying, because let's not even go. You're going deep.
Yeah.
You're going deep. Let's talk about just winter's coming.
Yeah.
Do you prepare for winter? If you live up north, I'm sure. I'm positive you're preparing for winter.
Oh, yeah.
So why aren't you preparing for your own life? You prepare for winter. You prepare for summer. South Florida, where I'm at. Oh, everyone is preparing for summer. They want to have a 6-pack and they want to go to the. Well, why? Why prepare yourself for a season but not prepare yourself for your life?
Oh, I love it. I love it. And we do go through. There's a great book I read once called, I think you're in Survive Your Winter Season, or Don't Die in Your Winter Season. So the whole thing with natural seasons, and then there's the spiritual seasons, and we go through times that seem dark, but there's always something in them. And I think that we have to honor the fact that that's happening. And there's no magic to January 1st. There's no magic to December 31st. There's nothing about that. It's a reset that is just been created. But the truth is, it's every moment, every day. And I want everyone to know that we have to honor the seasons too, and we recognize that it's been difficult for everybody in some way or another. But there is such an opportunity in all of this to know yourself better. And I see this, as the world pivoting and the world changing, I don't believe it's ending tomorrow. So I want to be there. I want to bring my gifts. I want to change people's lives. When I get to the end of my life, I want to say, wow, I left it all in the field, right? I don't want to look back and have any regrets.
There's no wants in what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Yeah. You
You know,
too.
and I want you to change that vocabulary. I don't want you to say I want. I'm doing it because you are doing it. Every time I speak to you, you've leveled up. I'm sure that by the time I spoke to you last till now, you have not had any challenges, right?
Oh, not at all. It's been a piece of cake, Bert.
But
Easy
every
Yeah.
time I see you and connect with you, you've leveled up.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you.
and that's what it is. So
Yeah.
with all the challenges, you're doing it. So
All
stop
right.
saying I want to, because you'll be wanting forever.
Well, I
You know,
received that. I
you know,
received that advice.
some people say I should. Well, you end up shooting all over yourself.
That's so true. Oh, gosh.
So just do it. Just
Yeah.
do it. And if you fail fast forward.
I love
Figure it
it.
out.
I
Go
love
again.
it.
And then eventually, but you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, woman, you are making it happen.
Yeah.
And like I said, not because I'm like, oh my God, I'm on her show, let me go ahead and give her props. No, I don't. If you listen to other shows I'm on, you'll know the difference when I'm like a new guest and I'm getting to know the person versus when I truly admire someone. And I admire what Elizabeth is doing.
Thank you.
And she's making it happen. Not everyone may agree with her stuff.
Yeah.
Not everyone may agree with her religion or her politics. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But she's making it happen. And that's what really matters.
Well,
This is what's going to make a difference in our world.
I appreciate that, Bert. And by the way, guys, you know, words do matter. And so I received that from you because I really believe the words we use make a huge difference. So I'm taking that. That was about $50,000 worth of coaching right there. And see, I actually had a hidden agenda. I said, Bert, you want to come on the podcast? Because I needed some coaching. So there you go. See, I'm not stupid. I know how to get my reset, right? No, but seriously,
You're
Bert, you're amazing. There's so much about you that's so valuable, and you've really set your world on fire. You've changed a lot of people. I am honored to have met you and so excited for the time that we can see each other in person. But I want everyone to know how they can learn more from you. I mean, definitely following you on social media, but you have programs, you have books, you have a lot of ways that people can interact in the way that they want to.
We have a new program that we did. We're doing. It's currently running. It's called Power Partners, right?
Yeah.
Where we meet once a week, every Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time, from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock p.m. Sometimes it goes a little over. And it's basically a BNI group / Toastmasters / networking group.
Nice.
Because we actually are giving each other business, and you have anyone that, like, I have some people in the group that have made $40,000 in a week.
Wow.
Other people have made $5,000. Some people have made $1,000. So there's different levels of different types of people in the group.
Yeah.
But the one thing is everyone wants success in their lives. And then within that same hour, we do what's the Toastmasters part is where you can present your PowerPoint or your talk for 5 minutes, and then we give you some professional tips, not only myself but people from my team, and like, why don't you do this if you want to get more closes, or you know,
Right.
we kind of guide them on their presentation skills. And then the last part is where we hold each other accountable and people network with each other. So it's a really powerful group.
Wow.
And it's called Power Partners. And you can find it on Facebook, and just link up there, and you know, we'll send you information. But the best way to find me is really simple. If you type in the word BERT, that's Bert Oliva, OLIVA, you'll find me all over Google, all over any social media. I've been doing this for over 27 years, so I'm not hard to find.
Yeah, not at all. And I appreciate everything about you. You know, one of your sayings is make it happen, and you do make it happen. You're like an injection of adrenaline. That's how I feel after I talk to you.
So much.
And
But before I go,
yeah.
I want to leave. We're about to shut this down, so I just want to say one thing.
What?
I want you guys to start believing in yourself.
Amen.
You know, sometimes you need to tell yourself to move out of the way. And usually that's what happens. We can blame the rest of the world and people around us, but it's really all up to us. And you have greatness inside of you. Tap into that greatness. Make it happen. Live your life, the life of your dreams. My quote, the quote I live by is, live life, don't let life live you. My name is Bert Oliva, Cuban born, American made. So go out there and make it happen.
I couldn't love that more. That is so awesome. You are the best. Thank you for blessing my audience, really. And you know what? Whenever we can do New York, we'll do New York. But if we can't, we'll do something virtual again. Bert, you have made an amazing impact on everyone. So thank you. And guys, I told you this would be exciting. Please check out all of his stuff, and you will continually be encouraged. Bert, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset Radio. Before you go, if you want to be part of a free online community of like-minded individuals for support, resources, and inspiration as you conquer your limiting beliefs and pursue your purpose, go to elizabethnader.com/community. That's elizabethnader.com/community, or search for Master Your Mindset Academy private group on Facebook. Looking forward to seeing you online.